This week, there was a major development on the ongoing privacy dispute between Apple and the UK government. Emily, you were talking about this on the BBC World at 1 this week. What are the key issues here?
This is such an interesting development and such an unusual way of learning about stuff. So it was not from the UK government, it was not from Apple that the world learnt this. It was from the United States Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, in a post on X.
So just help me here. There's been this big legal row. Basically, the UK have said...
So I will just give you a bit of background on the legal row. So for decades, there's been... the background is the decades-long debate about strong encryption is a great protection for privacy, for security and so on. But of course, it makes it very difficult for the prevention and detection of crime because you can't really look into those communications. So there is also, Apple is a very well-known, supporter of highly secure, highly privacy-respecting products. The UK Home Office is reported to have served a secret order on Apple under a technical capability notice, this is provided for in our surveillance laws, to lift encryption protections on certain things. Now, we don't know what it was about, why that notice was served, what the harms were behind it. But, if you're serving that sort of notice on Apple to lift encryption, it's pretty predictable that they are going to fight. And this is, so what started life as a secret order blew up into an international incident. Apple sued. WhatsApp, arch enemy of Apple, supported Apple.
Right.
The White House waded in. And so a sort of quiet little secret thing turned into this huge international incident.
Test case.
And now this apparently is a climb down, but neither of the parties involved have confirmed anything. And Apple, in recent reports, said it hadn't heard anything.
Now, my knowledge of secret stuff is basically founded upon watching James Bond movies.
Watching telly.
Watching telly, and I presume the Brits like to go, this is secret and we're never going to talk about it ever.
Well, the technical capability notice in the surveillance laws, the Investigatory Powers Act, is something that actually has a lot of process behind it. You're supposed to go to a technical committee. They're supposed to tell you whether or not it's feasible to do it, and it was always a very controversial approach anyway.
Alice, during this tantrum by Apple, who said, you can't do that, you can't make our phones hackable, which on principle is one thing. And if you make it a backdoor, so hackable for security experts, what's to stop security experts in a hostile country also hacking the phone? They withdrew their advanced data protection feature from UK citizens. You have an iPhone. Did you miss the ADP feature?
I had never heard of it until this podcast right now, this discussion. So, and I won't lie, I think it is quite interesting that I literally haven't heard anything about this, apart from you going on the news to talk about it. You're right. I think as British people, we like to be like, well, that's a very important secret thing in the government, and we don't need to know anything about it.
So this is big stuff between big men and governments and big technology.
I wanted to talk a little bit, very much, about the underlying debate between lawful access to encrypted content and the sort of positions that legitimate law-abiding actors take, which turn themselves into kind of really polarised things. So, we all use encryption all the time. We all rely on it. But also, I think we want law and order to a greater or lesser extent. If there's terrorism, if there's child abuse, if there's serious organised crime, we do actually want the government to protect us. Why do we have to pick a side in this? The technologists can come across as very callous in this. Oh, you're stupid, you just want to break technology and you don't understand the laws of physics, idiot. But on the other hand, the law enforcement community and the child protection charities can often sound incredibly heavy-handed to want to obliterate everybody's privacy because they are preventing very serious harms. And I think that
Well, and you've got young people in the middle who are kind of saying, to paraphrase, we don't know, we just leave that up to people. You're saying young, technologists and stuff, and you're saying, you said before, people just sign up, they give away their privacy, their terms and conditions.
We all do, don't we?
We just sign cookie notices and just agree to things.
Who reads the terms and conditions?
Who can understand them when they...
Who can understand them?
But they're there, and so you feel safe.
They're an average of 6,000 or 7,000 words.
I feel a little bit guilty. I'm like, I should probably read this. But then I'm like, well, I don't...
Emily just said they're 7,000 words.
Well, also in Japan, it's required that if ever you are to say, I have read the terms and conditions, you have to sit and have a reading and listen to somebody read the entire terms and conditions.
Wow.
So do we want that? No, I don't want that.
That sounds like a fun life.
Yeah.
There was a paper years ago that calculated if we actually read all the terms and conditions of all the sites...
I would still be reading them.
Yeah, it would take,
right now.
20 years per person. So.
Thank you very much. This is going to roll and roll, I think. Though I am surprised by the climb down, which does seem more like a cock-up than a plan, wouldn't you say?
I couldn't possibly comment.
So, just for questions to you out there. Well, one really: do you believe governments should have access to encrypted data for national security, even if it compromises digital privacy? Interested in your comments. Thank you very much.